So you guys let me know if you have any specific questions. Like I said, to those of you who just joined, you do not have any work to upload to anywhere on a regular basis. We are going to start a Facebook group where you can communicate with the other people who are doing the programming and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, show how things have gone. Let me know if something hasn't gone as you would have expected it to go. There's always going to be activities that your kids are going to like and activities that your kids are, and that's just, even when we do stuff in a classroom, we have the same issues. Not every child wants to do every activity every time we offer something. So if you're finding that something is not going as
you can put it on whatever, honey.
But yes. Okay. Then don't push them to continue to do it. We don't want this to be anything that's ever stressful or difficult for them. We want them to enjoy learning. This process should be getting them excited for when and ready for when they go to school next for kindergarten or whatever they're going to do next year, because we have some toddlers also. Without it being something that's scary or hard, or the last thing we want to do is have kids going into kindergarten feeling overwhelmed and feeling like they can't do it or whatever, or whatever it is. We want them to feel confident and feel like they understand what school is about. They understand, how to read a book. They understand, what numbers are and stuff like that when they walk into the first day of school at kindergarten and they're like, okay, I've got this. I get it. That's our goal here, is to have kids who are enjoying learning, who are having fun doing the learning. You do get a video every day. I don't know how many of you did do the trial. I did the trial, filmed the trial myself, and we ultimately decided to replace me with somebody who is way more bubbly and way more young and attention grabbing than I am. So hopefully your child will enjoy. You have Miss Grace if you are doing the preschool program, and you have Miss Tasha if you are doing the toddler program. I will be sending out an email tomorrow morning with a meet your teachers. So you can show your kid who the teacher is, and you can kind of get an idea of what they're like. But like I said, both of these women are, very bubbly, very fun, very, very exciting to watch. But if your child don't necessarily make them watch the entire 15-minute video or 10-minute video, whatever it is, all in one sitting. If they are watching it and they just don't feel like being there at that moment and want to get up and go do something else, pause it, let them come back to it, remind them of it later. Say, remember we had the rest of the video. Let's watch what else we can learn about the video. You may find yourself needing to sit with your child in the beginning of this, but as we go and they get used to that they're watching a video, watching a teacher on a video, hopefully that they'll get to the point that they don't always need somebody to sit with them to do it anymore. It's going to be a learning experience. This is a new program. I'm just trying to figure out a way to, as a director, trying to figure out a way to give quality early childhood to families that don't generally have access to it. And we sort of ran into COVID as it happened. So it became something that all of a sudden was a lot more relevant. But we're all going to be going through this learning process together and seeing how well this design works. There are now other programs that are popping up like this, but when the program was created, this was a new concept and nobody had thought of doing anything along these lines. So it's a learning experience. Let's see how it all works. Does anybody have any questions that they are dying to have answered, or you can just unmute yourself if you have questions that you want to ask.
Hi, Jean Harvey here.
Hi.
So I was wondering, are you talking about the September classes or the October classes, or is
Okay.
it both?
So are you in the live?
Yes, the
Okay.
October live classes.
So the live class is scheduled to start at the beginning of October because I am high risk pregnancy and on bed rest currently, and I will be teaching the live class. So I need to have the baby first. As soon as I have the baby, we will begin the live classes. I'm hoping to do it before October 5th, if possible, but that is why the start date is in October. A lot of people who are doing the live classes, we've actually had to open up another section. So if anybody here is not in the live class but interested in doing the live class, we do have limited spaces left, but they're going. A lot of people who have decided to do the live class are opting to do the pre-recorded just until we're able to start. So that's something you can email me and let me know, or we are going to start the live as soon as we can start it, and we'll pick up where the class is. The live class is going to really be catered to the needs of the kids in that particular group. It's only going to be at most 10 students in each live class. So we'll really be able to, I'll really be able to see, just like I would in a classroom, what they already know, what they don't already know, where we need to start from, where we, and we're going to go with, really where they are. That is the benefit of doing the live class versus doing the pre-recorded, is that pre-recorded is set in what it is. It was planned as a school year curriculum, and you're just going to get the next day whether your kid got the information the day before or not. But the live class will be able to repeat information or move faster or move slower depending on how everybody's doing. So, but that's also why it starts October 5th. And I apologize for that. I wish that we could have a way of starting the live class sooner, but
Congratulations.
thank you.
I
Yeah.
don't think pregnancy is something you have to apologize for. Congrats.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the high risk nature of the fact that I am incapable of, not allowed to do a whole lot of anything at the moment, is more of the restriction than anything else, and that we have no idea when I'm going to have a baby. It could be tonight. It could be October 1st. We have no idea. My other ones came early too, so their assumption is that I will do it probably soon. So we'll see. So anybody else? Do people like the idea of the Facebook group? Is that something that, yes? Okay, I'm seeing some nodding, that we can kind of like, because I can be a part of that and give you guys comments and feedback on how things are working or not working or whatever it is, if that's, that'll be a helpful way of communicating with everyone. So
I'm curious about where the other parents in the live class are from. Where's everybody based?
So it really depends. I have them from all over, honestly, right now. The East Coast, first East Coast class actually filled up, and I opened a second section for the East Coast, but even the kids that I have in the East Coast are all over that time zone. I've got 5 on the Pacific coast, but they're all over California and Oregon, and it seems like I'm not necessarily picking up a bunch of kids from the same neighborhoods or anything like that. They're all coming from everywhere. So hope that answers. I don't know how helpful that is. Be nice if people were coming from the same place, and maybe ultimately, if as the program grows, maybe we'll be able to do things that are in more consolidated areas so that people can actually get together. But I think right now it's pretty widespread.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thanks.
We're from Arkansas, and I was actually thinking, like, if it goes well, like maybe between classes or something, if the kids wanted to talk more, just a social aspect, if that was a possibility, that sounds fun to me, and I think my daughter would love that. But
Yeah, I can always set up a meeting room for you guys to join in and be with other, and we can always share contact information with the people who are in the live classes if that's what people wish to do. I'm hoping honestly that the live classes is going to be the the big draw and the big interest for people, because it's really going to be able to give your child that one-on-one attention while they're still safely at home during all of this, that and hoping to have it be as much like a school experience as we can possibly make it.
On the live class, what's the duration for the daily duration? Like how long we go in each day?
It'll be a half hour, because developmentally children at that age are not supposed to be expected to have an attention span for longer than 15 to 20 minutes, which is where the half hour came in. I was like, okay, that's pushing it. Let's see if we can, and we may not get there right away. As having taught preschool and having taught kindergarten, that in the beginning for 3 and 4 year olds is a long time to be focusing on something academic. I've been seeing a lot of new programs that are popping up that are doing them for like an hour or 2 hours, and I'm like, that is just not appropriate for the age. Also with the live classes, you do get the activities, and the focus, as much as doing the live class with me will be, is having your child engage in those hands-on activities, because they really learn from being able to do things. I hope
that makes sense. That's fairly well thought out.
Yeah, it was. The whole thing, the whole program has been carefully thought out, trying to cover all developmental areas. I see a lot of programs lately that are like all literacy based, or they're literacy and math based with no science, with no gross motor, with no fine motor, that I really tried to create, especially the activities, to cover all areas of development, that we're not skipping over or focusing on one thing more than anything else. It should hopefully be a really well-rounded year for them.
And then how do you approach, or have you thought about approaching sort of assessment and reporting back to parents, like where there's progress and where there's challenges?
So I'm expecting that with anybody who's in the live program, that just in my daily working with the child, and the group of kids, I'm gonna have a really good idea of what your child has mastered and what they haven't mastered, and we'll be able to generate a report for you guys. So all the programs get an assessment done every 2 months. I imagine with the live that I won't need to do a separate assessment. If I find that I do, it's something I will let you guys know about. If you're in the pre-recorded or the toddler session, then you will get a time arranged with you privately to work with your child to assess what they've mastered so far and what still needs to be worked a little harder on, and a report given to you so you can figure out, so you can, decide whether or not you want to go back, or if you want to continue working on the program the where everybody is. We have decided to run the program, the pre-recorded program. It's going to be pick it up wherever you want. So we should be able to move people back to repeat stuff if they want to be able to repeat topics or anything. And we can always give extra activities and ways of encouraging your child to master skills that they've missed if they have missed things. But the program was also created with a lot of reinforcement, and that the activities that you do with your child should be going with what it is that I've taught, that they should really go hands in hand, that the hope is that by the time your child gets assessed with me, they know it, that they understood what we were doing, and it's that they've mastered those topics already.
Hi, this is Tanya. We're actually in Tampa, Florida, just so you guys know where we are. I was wondering, how long is the year going to run? Like, what's the calendar?
Okay, so the program is designed to be 200 days. A typical school year is 180. So I'm dividing it to, you get 20 days per month. That's for the pre-recorded, if you're in the pre-recorded program. For the live classes, we are operating on the New York City public school calendar. There are days that we may not take, that the public schools take, like I probably don't need Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Election Day, and they get a couple of teacher days in June that I don't need clerical day in June and stuff like that. So we'll probably go over I think New York City usually ends up with actually more like 185. They've got the built-in snow days and stuff like that. So it'll probably work out to be more like 185, 190 for the live classes. My hope is to be able to take, if things are happening that way, the Christmas vacation and the February vacation and the spring break that my other kids have, which is why I'm trying to follow that calendar for my own sake, that if I want to take a vacation and go away for a week when that everybody's off at the same time, that kind of thing. So
that makes sense.
Thank you. I thought it made sense. So, do we have any other? I was hoping more people would come, but I'm gonna I recorded this, so I'm gonna send it out to anybody who wanted to still find out about things. But
So you said Miss Grace will be teaching the preschool class, but I think maybe you said you're teaching the preschool live?
I'm teaching all the live classes. She did all of the videos for the pre-recorded class, and Miss Tasha did all of the videos for the toddlers. So, but yes, I personally will be doing the live class to make sure that my big hope is that the live class is what's going to be the thing that really develops and does well, because obviously interaction with a teacher is much more important than anything else is. So that's the hope, which is why I'll be home. So that's why I'm covering the live sessions myself.
So for the live classes, I agree. I like the idea of the teacher interaction. Will the students get a chance to interact with each other?
Absolutely.
Talk to each other?
Absolutely. I hope to, have them interacting with each other. I think in the beginning we'll probably need parents sitting with children as we do it, so we can all learn how we're going to make this work together. But I do intend to treat it exactly as we do in a classroom, that I will ask your child a question and the next child a question. What did you do that was really great this weekend? Or, how did the activity go yesterday? Or, whatever it is, and have them all be able to answer questions. And if they want to talk to each other and ask questions to each other, that they are able to do that as well.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to have the kids, since everyone's from so far away from each other, it'd be fun to know where everyone's from and have them tell their backgrounds. Yeah,
since they really are really widespread. And I hope that the live classes are gonna fill up a little more. So if you know anybody else who is interested in doing a live class, I do still have some, since I opened a second East Coast class, I do have spaces in the East Coast class still, and I've got a couple of spaces still left on the West Coast. So.
Is the second East Coast class, what time is that?
It's at 9. So I have one at 9 and one at 9:30.
Okay, 9 is not better.
Well, like,
It's okay. 9:30 is great. That'll be.
you know. And so West Coast class is also at 9:30 for, you know, the idea was to do it in the morning so that if people still want to be able to go out and do activity, you know, they have the learning activities to do in the day, but if you want to go to the zoo or you want to go, you know, out and do something for the day, that you still have the day available to do that, and that I didn't make you be at home at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you know. So anybody else? Any questions? So I will send a new supply list out that will be weekly, so that if there's anything that's perishable or anything like that, that you've got it for the week instead of for the month. I probably will still send it out for the month just in case there are things on there that, you know, take a little bit more time to get. You're still going to get a Meet the Teachers thing today. You should be getting a new email from me each day this week with just getting excited for school starting. If you're in the live class, let me know if you want September with the pre-recorded with Miss Grace, and I will be letting you guys know as soon as we are able to start the live classes. We will start the live classes. My husband is actually going to be the primary caregiver of this child so that I can do this as soon as we're, you know, as soon as I'm discharged from the hospital and home again, we should be able to go ahead and begin.
I hope you can take a couple of days.
I don't know. The last one I got up and walked away after I had her. They were like, "You want a wheelchair?" I'm like, "No, I'm good, thanks." And I was out of the hospital in 24 hours. So
Wow.
We'll see how this guy is expected to be a little bigger than she was. So we'll see actually how it ends up going. But according to the last one, I was, you know, moving pretty.
Quick question on little siblings. So we've got a 2-year-old in addition to our 4-year-old who is very interested in whatever is happening on the computer.
Yep. My 2-year-old is very interested. If you're in the toddler program, I don't know if anybody on here is in the toddler program. The toddler program was actually created around the fact that I'm sitting here watching I had a bunch of toddlers starting to do the trials and stuff like that. And I'm like, this isn't appropriate for a toddler to be able to do. And I started thinking about the things that my daughter was learning and my daughter was capable of, and created a toddler program. My daughter has been sitting, and I'm getting an extension degree in special education. And my daughter's been sitting in on my classes for the last couple at 2 years old. And so if your other child wants to sit and watch, and those activities may not all be capable of being done by the toddler, but she could always try them. And the toddler program is pre-recorded, but the toddlers get their own separate activities to do that are based on what toddlers should be able to do and should be learning at that age.
I guess it was more of a fair warning for you. You may have an extra set of eyes.
I may have the same thing happen to me. That she's like, "Oh, school's happening." So, you know, I may end up getting a little bit of a toddler crashing in on my teaching sessions as well. I'm hoping that she can be relatively contained and not do that, but it's entirely, you know, I'm here in a New York City apartment, so we're gonna, for the live classes, we're all gonna see how these things work together and do the best we can to try to, you know, I've got grandparents across the street. If I have to, I can always send her across the street so that she's not disruptive or anything like that. And my older child is actually a teenager. So he will be here doing remote learning and is capable of taking care of both the toddler and the baby if he needs to. So it should be an exciting school year. Let's see how long we're
Well, we totally understand the toddler drop-in. In fact, we just had one.
She's usually pretty quiet. I find that you know, she's learned how to drop in and kind of just sit there and watch. So I'm like, okay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, well, and when you're in early childhood classes, I've had moments where she's crashed into class and the teacher's gone, ooh, can you ask her something? And I'm like, okay, yeah, since she's sitting there in front of the camera right now while we're in class, yes, I can ask her to do something or something, so.
I have a question. So usually, so we've had our daughter in preschool before, like an in-person, and they provided like a total of how much we paid for the year for taxes. Do you know if you'll be able to provide something for taxes?
I hope we will be able to do that. This all got rolled out faster and was more I said, hey, let's start this preschool. I didn't this preschool program so that I could give families quality early childhood. Little did I have any idea what it actually took to make, which is why we're still having payment issue technicalities and stuff like that, like the program is all there and that's not going to be a problem to go out. How we're dealing with other things, I had to, figure out legal issues and stuff like that. The accountant has yet to be called, and hopefully the accountant will be able to figure out how to have me be able to provide you guys with information for your taxes that you can. I don't know how that works either, though. That's something we're going to all have to figure out, is how it works, since it's a virtual school program and not an in-person school program. I don't know how taxes actually takes that into account. So that'll be something that we'll figure out. So, any other questions? You guys have had great.
So will you be doing all of the live assessments then, even if we're doing the pre-recorded school?
I haven't entirely figured that out yet, due to the fact that I've got a lot of people who say they want the pre-recorded class, probably more than I can manage to do assessments for everybody. If
Okay.
everybody goes ahead and actually does it, I may need to farm out to other people. If I farm out to other people, it will be teachers that I know personally, that I know will be able to do what we need. It's gonna be a matter of how many, and figuring out kind of the problem with having a payment issue is that we haven't collected payment for anybody, and we still get people who go and say that they enrolled in the program, and then you send them an invoice and they go, I didn't enroll in this. I'm like, well, you clicked the enroll button. Like, so it's going to be a matter of how many of those people. Right now there are 100 people who want the pre-recorded class. I'm not going to be able to do 100 assessments every 2 months. It's going to depend on how many people actually wanted the program, actually paid for the program, and actually are continuing to use it, for me to decide that. If you decide that you want me personally to do it, that's always something you can reach out to me and you can ask me to do it personally. I'd be happy to do that if that's what you want. But like I said, anybody that I would get to help me out with it would be a teacher that I've personally worked with in the past.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else? All right, well, thank you everybody for joining us. I look forward to starting, and you should get your first day on Tuesday morning. Again, we are trying to figure out the invoice payment system still, and hopefully that's going to be resolved today or tomorrow still. Square was not working for us, so we had to stop our relationship with them. Apparently it's something that a lot of small businesses are having a major problem with them right now. So dodged a bullet, but have to figure out kind of what we're doing, how we're handling it instead. And it was something that had to be figured out very last minute. But you will get your first day on Tuesday, and then you get 20 days. If you're in the pre-recorded, you get 20 days each month. So for September, if we include Labor Day, you miss the last day of September or something like that. But you can always, the entire program is, it's not seasonal. It's not, you can pick it up whenever. So if you find that you want to go on vacation or whatever it is and you miss some days in the pre-recorded, then pick them up when you get back. Like, you can pick it up whenever. All right. If there aren't any more questions. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing you guys in the live classes if you are enrolled in the live class with me, and pre-recorded. Oh, you can always email and I will get back to you. I answer all the emails. So we can, always help you out with that. And if you specifically want me for the assessments or anything like that, you can always let me know. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.